Hey, how's everybody doing? Welcome back to the Skol Minnesota Vikings podcast. As you guys see by the title, this is a very fun video I'm going to be making because we're going to be talking about the Vikings secondary. Obviously needs some upgrades, obviously needs improvement, but I'm going to be talking about the Vikings potentially drafting Kyle Hamilton and then moving Cam Bynum back to cornerback, his original position. My thoughts on both those, because I think Kyle Hamilton going to the Vikings is starting to gain a little more steam, gain a little more traction. So I want to talk about it and the implications of that. Thank you guys so much, obviously, for the support on the channel. You guys have been fantastic lately. Talking about Kyle Hamilton, Cam Bynum right now. Okay, so obviously Kyle Hamilton, he is the stud safety from Notre Dame. And just for Vikings fans to get a quick comparison in your mind of what he plays like, he plays like a prime Harrison Smith. You know, they're both Notre Dame guys. They're both very physical safeties. But he's 6'4", 225. And if you just throw on his highlights from college, you see he hits. And he hits for real. He is a hitter. And like I said, prime Harrison Smith, he kind of plays with this sort of edge, but he also plays with this sort of savviness to his game, and which is something you definitely need at the safety position in the NFL. And Kwesi, our new GM, I think he's going to be huge. Just as we see him draft over time, I think he's going to be big in the best player available. And I think if Kyle Hamilton's there at 12 and Stingley and Sauce Gardner are both gone, I think it's for sure him. I don't think he would go get Trent McDuffie or Andrew Booth, the other corners. Yes, they're both fine corners. I would love it if the Vikings could somehow trade up to later first round and get a guy like that, because I think they'll both have very good NFL careers. But when you got a guy like Kyle Hamilton, and he has this all-pro potential, there are about 5 guys in this draft who really have all-pro potential, and he's one of them. And if you could get him at 12 and pair him up next to Harrison Smith, I mean, the combinations you could run on defense are endless. And that's also why I think the Vikings would consider drafting him, even though we already have 2 pretty strong safeties in Cam Bynum and Harrison Smith, is that Kyle Hamilton and Harrison Smith, like I said, they're hitters. They're also very versatile. They can both play box. They can both play over the top. So Vikings are moving to this 3-4. I mean, if they really wanted to get sticky in coverage and really put the best coverage players on the field that they wanted to, they could realistically go in the middle, like on their D line. They could go Harrison Phillips, Za'Darius Smith, Daniil Hunter as the 3 down linemen, and then as the 4 linebackers, you could go Jordan Hicks, Eric Kendricks, and then you could move Harrison Smith down to one of them, and you can move Kyle Hamilton down to the other, and then have Cam Bynum running coverage on the back end. I'm just saying the endless possibilities, and I think in the NFL nowadays, it's a lot of disguise and coverage. I think teams are going to really stray away from running man a lot this year, just because I think man, if we've seen it last year in the NFL playoffs, man-to-man defense really got exposed, and that's why we see all these receivers are getting a ton of money, is because receivers are just ahead of DBs right now. You know, I think a couple years ago we saw, or it's still like that, defensive linemen were ahead of offensive linemen in terms of just development and skill. I think now we're seeing the shift with wide receivers because they're getting all the money. So all these kids coming up nowadays, they want to play wide receiver in comparison to corner. So all the best athletes go to just naturally the wide receiver position instead of corner. So I think you are going to need to get stickier in coverage than you would in years past. And if you have 2 guys like Kyle Hamilton and Harrison Smith, it would be fantastic. I mean, I would mainly just like to see it because having 2 really dynamic safeties like that, I think would cause so much. You know, I think everybody's all enamored with like the dual pass rushers, and like obviously the Vikings have attacked that with Za'Darius and Daniil, but I think also maybe having 2 guys getting sticky in the back end, because everything nowadays, teams are always trying to find one-play touchdowns here, one-play touchdowns here. If you could bring in Kyle Hamilton and Harrison Smith and have him teach Kyle the ways of the NFL and they already have that Notre Dame connection, I think the possibilities are endless. And then that would also allow people to forget Cam Bynum played corner in college. It's not like if they would want to bring Kyle Hamilton in and just stick those 2 at safety and say this is the future, and plus Harrison Smith is getting older, so he could really prep Kyle Hamilton to be the safety of the future, then you could move Cam Bynum. He played corner in college. I'm just saying, then you look at the corner room. Instead of drafting a corner, you can move one of your own guys there with Pat Pete, Cam Dantzler, Cam Bynum. I would still have my question marks about the position group as a whole, but it would immediately take our safeties to A+++++. We would have the best safety tandem in the league and potentially the best pass rush duo in the league. That would be my argument to taking Kyle Hamilton. I think if I had to put my money on it right now, who the Vikings will draft at 12, I would say him. I think just the way the draft will go, and I think the corners will go early, I think it's going to be Kyle Hamilton. I really do. I really do. I just have this hunch. Let me know what you guys think down below. Very interesting, though, because you got to talk about moving Cam Bynum the corner. It's a whole – I mean, Ed Donatel and Mike Pettine are probably already dreaming of schemes they could come up with it. Harrison Smith and Kyle Hamilton. Let me know what you guys think down below. Skol Vikes.